Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here with Jason Blaha Strength and Fitness, and today I want to chat with you guys and gals a little bit about the fact that you can't really separate size and strength. But a quick reminder, if you guys will please click like and drop me a comment down below, I'd appreciate it so much. The problem is the internet and certain aspects of illusions of bodybuilding and other things have created strange myths around this. What you're talking about is myths and legends and lore, and it's like people will say silly stuff like, "Well, there's this guy, whatever, who benched 400 pounds at 132 body weight." Like they just make this stuff up, or not realize there's a lot of trickery on the internet. Or like, well, then how come bodybuilders are so much bigger than this particular strongman or power lifter, and they haven't seen them side by side? And I think this is the problem, So perfect example, before we even look at evidence, this has been studied in the lab. The idea that size and strength are like 90% correlated is insanely well supported in large numbers of scientific studies in the lab. Okay, this is not even a major point of debate. You just sound stupid. You sound stupid as hell if you actually say it based upon the evidence. Like you clearly haven't looked. But setting that aside, people get caught up in the anecdote, and there's some problems with that. They'll say that, and it's like, well, you're talking about some 5'5" bodybuilder, and people don't realize they're thinking these Mr. Olympias are average height. Well, they listed as 5'8". That's his build height. Meet him in real life, you'd be like, this dude's a squidget. Perfect example, Kai Green. I met Kai Green in person. There's no way that guy's over 5'5". I refuse to accept the possibility. I've met him in person. There's no way. So they're seeing this really stacked power bodybuilder, and they're thinking because they're ripped and lean, and they also have tons of side enhancement. A lot of the bicep and delt and all that is fake muscle on top of all the size from all the drugs. Until you stand them next to a big power lifter or strongman, you realize, they're big, but they're maybe not as big as I thought they were. In comparison to the strength athlete, you're like, well, this guy's not as big. Why? Well, go stand him next to Milinachev, who was squatting 1,000 pounds. Okay? And then you realize just because he's not ripped doesn't mean he's not Mr. Olympia sized. Okay? Let's be clear. So you see a guy like that, and you're thinking, well, or you go see Big KK, right, back in the day, right? And it's like, well, he's big, but he's a little fluffy. But again, he kind of had abs, actually, right? Like, he's close gripping 500 pounds. He's deadlifting, world record deadlift at the time, weighing 275, or he's in the 275 class or whatever, was deadlifting almost 900 pounds, right? You guys all remember that? Or he might, then you see him next to a pro bodybuilder and you realize, he is literally IFBB pro size. He just doesn't have the same proportions and the oiled up biceps and delts. But the size is there. Okay. So the problem is people haven't seen the comparisons. Remember when you guys saw Brian Shaw at the Olympia or whatever that year, and he's next to Phil Heath and all these other guys or whatever, and you realize they looked like children next to him. So it's like, this big strength athlete versus a body. Then you realize the bodybuilder literally looks like a child next to him. Like he's way bigger. He's just not shredded with their proportions. But that's in person versus just a picture with just bodybuilders around. Context. Or you see the fake lifters. You'll see Anatoly and not realize he is nowhere near as strong. And that's a skit. And people are forgetting that satire. It's comedy. He's not a 600-pound deadlifter. I'm just telling you straight up. I know for a fact. We saw his competitive numbers. He's never pulled even 500 pounds in competition. And he's done powerlifting meets, quite a few in the past. A lot of fakery going on, and then these are all actors. These are people who are in on it. It's a skit he runs. He's not stronger than these guys. There's tons of bumper plates and whippy bars, and again, he's not lifting the weights you think he is. Now, he's probably a legit 500-pound deadlifter at this point, But there's a lot of trickery and leverages. It doesn't mean he's going to walk over. There's no way that guy's walking over on a competition type bar and plates, calibrated plates, and he's not deadlifting 600 pounds in a meet. There's no way. He is not capable of it. I'm just telling you flat out. And if he was, he'd go do a powerlifting meet and show it. Same thing. These guys are bigger and stronger than him. It's an act. Okay, that's not reality. This is skits for Facebook and the internet and Instagram. It's a comedy satire. It's not reality. But if you think it's real, then before long, people start thinking this stupidity that you're separating, size and strength in that regard. And then the same thing with guys like the up power lifter. Guys, that was all fakery. In fact, he got called on it. It was for money. People said, why would he fake it? He made tens of thousands of dollars in ad revenue. He had a monetized YouTube channel. He was making money off the fake benching. Okay? He never stepped on a platform, and he lived in a place where he could have easily gone and competed. And he said, hey, guys, I'm going to do a powerlifting meet. And he hyped it all up that he was preparing and going to do a powerlifting meet later that year to show his world record bench press. Okay? And then he just didn't do it. All right, let that sink in. You have a guy who has never competed, literally world record holder, gym lift, makes money off of the marketing it, significant chunks of money. We're talking tens of thousands of dollars off of just the videos. And then hypes up preparing for a powerlifting meet and never sets foot. Keep in mind, guys, there are powerlifting meets, sanctioned meets in every city. I promise you, him just showing up at a powerlifting meet, he probably could have made a 30-minute trip and gone to a powerlifting meet and just showed up to anything, and had something on the books. And with his strength levels, he wouldn't have needed to compete to peak his normal lifts he supposedly had. He could have just walked in and hit world records, state records, national records on a bad day. It was fake. All fake for money. All right, so people have to remember this, and we've seen a lot of goofball lifts that were you could tell legitimately fake lifts have been done. They've caught multiple people doing them. Alpha Destiny, I called him on it and caught him on a fake lift before, and he got pissed. But this was like 10 years ago. It was very clearly was faked. Whereas I'm over here using calibrated plates for everything. Right? No cuts in the middle of lifts, Just get in and train. But fakery, it's created this illusion. And then in the reality, when it's studied in the lab, it's 90% overlap. Your muscle mass size cross-sectional area relative to force production, it's like 90% muscle tissue that causes it. And that's it.